ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Lucky Dog Gen 6 series here from Auto Club. Unfortunately, no longer the configuration we're going to have going forward in real life, but here in iRacing, the 2-mile configuration is preserved forever for our racing and viewing enjoyment. So here we go. 100 laps here at Auto Club, 200 miles in the Gen 6 cars. Love these cars. Absolute blast to drive, especially here at a track like Auto Club where you have 4, 5 different viable lanes. We're going to watch out these guys using all of them, especially on any starts and restarts that we have this evening. Before we get too deep into everything, let's go ahead and get down our starting lineup here. Starting on the pole is the 129 of Kim Kraus. Great seeing here up front. Auto Club, one of his stronger tracks. Look forward to seeing great things from him this evening. Starting in second to his outside is the number 9 of John Held. In third, we have the 429 of Paul Witt, and to his outside, we have the 024 of Everett Lane. Behind him in fifth, in the 43, we have Mr. Sandy Curtis, and to his outside in sixth, we have the 777 of Michael Pegg. Starting 17th, we have the 19 of Ben Gear, and in eighth, we have the 23 of Mr. Ray Zercut. I assume pun intended. Starting 9th, we have the 33 of Gary Ragland. To his outside in 10th, we have the 44 of Jacob Edson. Expect us, if anyone's going to commit to that top lane, expect it to be that man right there. He can commit to the top lane just about any track and make it work. Starting behind him in 11th is the 58 of Chris Hogue, and beside him will be the 89 of Mr. Randolph Richard. Starting in 13th, we have the 76 of Donald Stewart, and beside him is the 140 of Jim Featherstone. Behind him in 15th, we have the 3 of Mr. Kendall Craft. To his outside in 16th, we have the 144 of Rick Adams. Starting 17th, we have the 71 of Dirty Don, and to his outside in 18th, we have the 59 of Ralph Blair. Starting 19th, we have the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr., and to his outside, we have the 00 of Thomas Holder, who I do not see currently on track. Starting 21st, we have the 6 of BK Pierce. And 22nd, we have the 91 of Joel Guy. Finally, we have the 85 of Alcina, but I don't see him on track either. Let's go ahead and we'll go back to your leaders here as Pace Car brings them through turn 3. Headed to turn 4. Looks like overall 20 cars here in this field. Good size field here for a 100 lap of main event here at Auto Club Speedway. Kim Kraus brings them to the start finish line. Green is in the air. Let's go racing, boys. Kim getting an excellent push from 429 of Paul Witt, but likewise John Held getting just pushed as hard as possible by the 024 of Everett Lane. See someone up high out of the way. They don't want to be involved. Is expecting 3, 4, 5 wide as we go. We see 3 wide a little bit further back, but everyone gets a little sorted. It looked like the 19 got a little loose there coming out of turn 2. Fresh tires. Definitely something these guys will have to struggle with on fresh tires all night long. The 129 already moving up to the top lane, trying to make that outside work, trying to get some speed up there, but unfortunately not able to. Ooh, we got a car on the wall. I think that's the 129 bounced off the wall there. Maybe just got squeezed up a little bit. 429 of Paul Witt is out ahead. He is the one currently leading this race. So he committed to that bottom lane. Caution is out. I can see there's someone spinning. Go back a little bit further in the field, see if we can find... Ah, there we go. 140 of Jim Featherstone. Let's go back and take a look at this. What happened? Going through, down the front stretch. He's right up there against the wall. Comes down a little bit. Sees the 129 of Kim Kraus slow after his contact with the wall. Oh! Came across the front bumper of the 58. Maybe thinking there was a hole there. Let's go back. Let's take a look a little closer. Just contact between him and the 58 of Chris Hogue. I want to see that from the chopper cam real quick. See what exactly happened. That is, we got the 129 is slow. 19 comes up the track. 140. That's what it looked like. You see the 129 have a little bit of a wiggle. Let's take a look at that one more time. Expect Jim Featherstone here. 19's coming up the track. 140 just pitched up into the 129. Looked like a little bit of a netcode bounce off the 129. Brought him across the front nose of the 58 of Chris Hogue, who got destroyed. Let's see how this played out for him. Definitely didn't look intentional. You see the 58 trying to follow the 19. 19 squeezes the 140 up into the 129. There's a little bit of a bounce right across 58's nose. Just, 76, 71, 4 cars, 6 cars involved. I believe that's 5 cars total involved in this. So we'll go back. We'll look at this one more time here. We'll ride along with the 6 of Brian Pierce. He saw all this happen in front of him. Wow, barely missed it. Fantastic job dodging that wreck. Thought it looked like he'd gotten a piece of it. Maybe a little scrape along the right side. We'll go back. We'll take a look here. Keeps defaulting to Paul. I like Paul, but I need to look at this from the perspective of the people who are in it. So we'll ride along here with the 76 Donald Stewart. That car definitely has a lot of damage there. Like we were looking at, looked like maybe a little bit of netcode between the 140 and the 129. Doesn't look like the 140 intentionally darts down the track over the nose of the 58. The 58 definitely didn't mean to spin him. Just trying to keep there in the draft of that 19 there, maybe not realizing that the 129 was as slow as he was. Just a few guys, I think, ultimately just ended up in the same piece of real estate, and we know physics don't allow that. Let's go ahead and we'll take a look here. It looks like the 76 of Donald Stewart, he is coming down pit road. Again, probably to go ahead and just add a little bit more fuel to this car. This might be a boon for him. I'm not quite certain how many laps these guys are going to be able to run on a tank of fuel. You definitely want to be able to go as far as you can. 59 of Ralph Blair also coming down pit road to top it off. The 44 of Jacob Edson here showing as a lap down, 2 laps down. Not certain exactly what happened to him. Appears as though the only car who was unable to continue was the 58 of Chris Hogue. Everyone else looks like they're going to be able to keep it going. So our top 5 here on this start, we have the 429 of Paul Witt in first, the 43 of Sandy Curtis in second, 777 of Michael Pegg making his way through the field up to third. We have the number 9 of John Held. He is in fourth, and in fifth we have the 024 of Everett Lane. Pace car is down pit road. Paul Witt bring him to the Geico restart zone. Here we go. Coming to lap 6. Green flag is back in the air. Got even start there from our top 2. Neither one are really getting a good push. That bottom line a lot more formed up in the top lane currently. Sandy Curtis, he sends it there into turn 1 and turns 1. Trying to keep alongside Paul Witt, not able to stay there. It looks like Michael Pegg trying to do his best to follow him through. Sandy Curtis is going to be trying to keep Paul Witt and Michael Pegg kept down there on that low line to be able to get to that right rear quarter panel of Paul Witt. He sends it there through the middle. Like Michael Pegg getting a little loose, maybe a little tight there, washed up the track just a little bit. Everyone keeps it pointed in the right direction. We're still too wide here from second on back. Michael Pegg able to clear Sandy Curtis. It's going to allow him and Paul Witt to get that arc down into the corner that they need to get all the speed. Michael Pegg rolling just about a half a lane higher there through the corner. Paul Witt blocking the inside. He knows that's where Michael Pegg is going to be looking to go around and wants to keep Michael behind him as long as possible. As shallow as he can make that 777's line, the better. There's a little bit of contact there between the 024 Everett Lane and the 43 Sandy Curtis. That knocks Sandy Curtis up the track. Michael Pegg getting a really good push there from Everett Lane. These guys working so well together. These top three here running single file going through the corner. See, Michael Pegg enters a little bit higher than Paul Witt. Everett Lane right on the back bumper of Michael Pegg, trying to keep up, trying to make up all the, trying to give the best push that he can. You see Sandy Curtis here, he's back in this little bit to the inside of the 024, trying to get that third position. He wants to be able to get back up ahead of these guys. He knows all about the clean air here. The last thing he wants to be stuck behind the jet wash of three separate cars. Get by them and get by them quick. See, he's committing to a higher lane than all three of these guys, getting that fresh air on the nose of his car. 19 of Ben Gear, he's inserted himself into the mix, putting a little bit of pressure there on Sandy Curtis. Looking for a way path into the fourth position. We got the 9 of John Held. He's just looking on. Just kind of riding. We know John's strategy is just to save. He wants something at the end of this. 19 of Ben Gear goes to the inside of the 43. Puts a little bit of a side draft, trying to pull the 43 back, and that's not quite working. 43's got a very strong pull there from the three cars ahead. 19 of Ben Gear looking for that high side. This race pretty much, for the most part, single filed out. It's going to take a while for it really to stretch out. That 429 of Paul Witt, he's going to have to keep forcing that 777 of Michael Pegg to run lines he doesn't want to. Just keep taking the nose off that car if he wants to have a hope of, a little bit of contact between the 19 and the 43. Like the 19, 43, one of them going to swap lanes there, not quite clear the other, a little bit of contact. Everyone keeps it pointed straight. Good save by both of those guys. Our top five. 19 drills the wall, throws him down below the apron. Keeps it pointed in the right direction. That is not going to help the handling of this car. Drops him back to the 9th position. As my guess is the 33 of Gary Ragland lines up there behind the 89 of Randolph Richard on his outside. And he does. Ben Gear back to 952. Gary Whitmer Sr., I believe that is. And the 3 of Kendall Kraft go by. Hopefully that 19 doesn't have too much damage there on that right front. Go ahead and take a look here. Right side of that car looks okay as he gets a little bump from the 3 of Kendall Kraft. Ben Gear stopped completing, having only fallen back to 10th place, but that's a heck of a drop there. Battling for 4th, now trying to hold on to 10th. Ben Gear showing a lot of speed here, but behind those folks ahead looked like the front of that car just was not able to get the bite it needed off the corners. You see the 43 here, Sandy Curtis, he's still looking low there on the 24 of Everett Lane. See Michael Pegg looking high, trying to get that run off the top side to get beside Paul Witt, not quite able to get there. 43 and the 9 looking to make up as much time as they can, but they got that 23, Mr. Ray Zerka, right there behind them, trying to take advantage of the hard racing happening in front of him. He's up a bunch of positions here into the 6th spot. Just carving this field up, looking for any way he can get up there into this top spot and get by these guys. He's watching all the racing that's happening in front of him, trying to slow these guys down. Paul Witt having to run a very defensive line It's a very aggressive Michael Pegg behind him, trying to get away around, it looks like. He's getting really good pushes from Everett Lane there in the 024. See, he's now taken to running a lane below the 429. That's really going to help him preserve life on those tires. The 43 gets a monster run on Everett Lane. He's challenging here for the third position, bringing the number 9 and John Held with him. John pushing Sandy for all he's worth down the front stretch. And really, that's the kind of teamwork it's going to take to be able to really challenge these top 3. You're going to have, I mean, these top 3, at least 2 of them look like they're working together. It's going to take teamwork behind them to really break these guys up and get on by. Paul Witt able to pull out about 0.2 of a second there on Michael Pegg. They're single file behind him. They're really going to close this up here, corner 1. I think what Michael is going to have to do if he wants to get around Paul is he's going to have to get one heck of a run going down the front stretch. He's going to have to sail this thing off into turn 1 as hard as he can, try and draw alongside Paul Witt by turn 2 and just hold it there. He's going to have to do this on the outside. I don't think that's a pass he's going to make very easily on the inside. As we see the 43 here trying to make a pass again on the bottom. 23 of Ray Zerkut. He's going 3 wide down there for the third position. We've seen that top lane. It just keeps prevailing. Every time someone goes for a pass on that 24 car, it just does not stick down there on the bottom. 24 is not pinching anybody or anything. They're just not able to get the momentum there off the bottom lane to be able to really challenge him. So I think if Michael Pegg is going to make this pass, he's got to get to the 429s outside. He's got to make this pass happen quick. The 24 is not getting a good run through turns 3 and 4. John Held getting a push from the 43 here. They, boom, push that 9 out ahead. Looks like he is completely clear of the 24. That 24 on that outside is able to sail it off in there and get right back to the outside of the 9. And that gives him all that momentum going down there along the backstretch. Here's John Held well before they make it halfway down the backstretch. But his turn 3 and 4, his turn 4 exit definitely appears to be where Everett is struggling. See John Held right there back to his inside, able to make it to the side, the quarter panel, draw alongside. They make contact there. It looked like the 9 may be trying to arc the 24 out of the corner, trying to get him to run off his line. Not able to do it. 24 bounced the 9 down the track. Like, no sir, you are not forcing me out this wide, not this early. Maybe thinking what the 9 was doing maybe a little uncalled for. He dives it down there to the bottom. It's a much better turn 4 right there on the rear bumper of Michael Pegg. John Held, Sandy Curtis, though, coming with a full head of steam. They got to jump out of the gas to avoid running over the guys ahead of them. That's how powerful the grab can be here at Auto Club. Let's go ahead. I want to take a second. Let's take a look at him. Remember, he bounced off the wall fairly early on. Here he is back. We'll go ahead and we'll ride along with him. The 129 of Kim Kraus. He got dumped pretty far down the running order, back up to 6th. Oh, Everett Lane washing way up. 129 having to get out of the throttle there before getting into him. 9 and John Held, 43 Sandy Curtis both made it past Everett. This 129 back up here in the mix. Now it's like a 10-car breakaway here from the rest of the field. Randolph Richard, the 89, he's bringing up the back of this pack, but very rarely do we have here 10 cars all sticking together like this. The setup on this car must feel amazing. We're able to keep this many people under a blanket. So 10 cars within a second and a half of each other. had that little checkup there from the 24 that kind of stacked the field up just a little bit behind them. 6 cars ahead. Sandy Curtis under fire from Everett Lane here. As he washes up. Oh, looked like contact between the 24 and the 43. Sandy not running as high as maybe Everett thought. A little bobble there from the 43's 129. He's caught up. He's going for a pass there on the 33, trying to take that 6th position. He gets a monster run there behind the 24 coming off turn 2. That's not going to be enough to pull him along, pull him past the 33, but definitely keep him alongside down the straightaway. 33 clears him. 129 going right back to that high side, looking to make up that time, make up that distance. That 24 of Everett Lane, not certain if it was just him getting muscled out there by the 9 and the 43, or if he just had a bad turn 3, but he is running that car pretty hard, trying to get back up to these guys. John Held sitting comfortably in 3rd. We've seen him finish runner-up. I won't say runner-up, 3rd place. Well, I mean, yeah, runner-up to the 2 people ahead of him. 3rd place behind Michael Pegg. Any mixture of Michael Pegg, Paul Witt, and Gary Sapinski here. He's running 3rd, keeping that 43 is Sandy Curtis with him. These 2 guys, I do believe, raced together as teammates. And that's what John Held needed, a friend up there with him, able to get past 429 and the 777. Michael Pegg able to assume the lead there. Paul Witt running high. A phenomenal run out of turn 4 there for the 9. This is the kind of teammate the 9 and the 43. They'd much prefer Paul Witt trying to hold Michael Pegg back than Michael Pegg getting pushed by Paul Witt. This is a track Paul and I work very well together at. He'll run one line, I'll run another line. We'll come together bumper to bumper, corner exit, and just push. See, that's what it looks like he's doing here with Michael Pegg. Michael running one lane, Paul running the other. So this time looks like they may be side by side coming out of the corner. No, Paul Witt cleared by Michael Pegg. Looked like Paul had to get out of it there. He had a phenomenal push, great run there down the backstretch. Drew him alongside Michael Pegg there in the corner. These 4 cars all separated by only 0.2 of a second. Michael Pegg and Sandy Curtis. It's always nice seeing dueling teams here. Look at that run from John Held. Committing there to the low line, saw the 43 duck down to go with him. John realizing he didn't have the run that maybe he thought he had. Gives a little bit of a bump to the 429 going into the corner. I think that messes up Paul's line a little bit. He doesn't want to be following right in the tire tracks of the 777. Oh, 43 drills the wall. Looked like what to be an evasive action there. Avoid hitting the 9. That is not going to help that car at all. Like he had to get way out of the throttle, make an evasive move. And that car just got away with him, away from him. Now wondering how much that's going to hurt him. The 19 here of Ben Gear. He's the lap down. I guess he had damage, brought it down pit road to get it fixed. He's here going to get his lap back. I didn't realize that he had come down pit road. He is flying through these guys. Slicing and dicing, bringing the 43 along with him to the inside. He gets the inside of Paul Witt, looking to get past Michael Pegg here to get his lap back. He's alongside Michael Pegg. Don't know if he's got the run to get by him. Michael Pegg here be forced to run a higher lane than he really prefers running. They sail it off. Michael Pegg able to hold it very, very very nicely there, just one lane up from the bottom. John Held, he was looking to try and take advantage of the two guys ahead of him not being able to run their line. Unfortunately, he's not able to make anything stick. He's got no real help out back. Sandy Curtis is running with a wounded car. It's taken them a bit to get hooked back up. He needs Sandy behind him to give him that push. Like, he can get a nice pull from the 429, but it's not going to be enough to get him up there. Not with the way the 429 and the 777 work together, especially when you consider they're able to take advantage of the draft pull. They're getting 19-year Ben Gear, who's run on fresh tires. Now, he's going to be pulling away from these guys. He's not going to be giving them help for too much longer. But it's just enough help. These guys have been able to pull out 0.4 of a second here on John Held. I'm not entirely certain if these guys will be looking at 44 laps of fuel in these cars, or if they're looking at closer to 50. If they're shy of halfway, then I would expect a pit stop between now and lap 40. If they have enough fuel to make it halfway, we'll see who's able to make this race on one stop. We saw folks like the 59 of Ralph Blair. He came down pit road under that caution. He's sitting back here in 12th, about 6 seconds back. And the biggest reason one would do that, either damage on the car or they think they can make it from there on one stop. So we need to, Ralph Blair back here keeping it pretty quiet in the 12th position. He and several drivers came down to top off. He might be the one to watch by the end of this race. Go ahead and we'll ride along with him a little bit, just to get an idea of what he's doing, and then we'll go ahead and we'll bounce up to back up to the leaders to see that difference. We'll go ahead and we'll ride along with 59 of Ralph Blair. As it appears, pit stops have begun. 777 of Michael Pegg has hit pit road. 429 of Paul Witt. He's still out back in third position. Is that damage to the right side of that car I see? Must be a figment of my imagination. He got shuffled back into the third position. 43 Sandy Curtis out front with the lead. How long do these guys want to stay out here? As it looks like all three of them hit pit road, and they bring the 33 Gary Ragland with them. They cannot afford to let Michael Pegg be out very long on fresher tires than them. We'll see how this plays out. This gives the lead to the 129 of Kim Kraus. That'll give him his lap led. That'll be a bonus point here for Kim Kraus. Second place, he's got the 89 of Randolph Richard behind him. And behind them, the 6 of Brian Pierce in third. 2.5 seconds back. Michael Pegg here did go a lap down. Can I not read? I don't think I can read. That says Michigan on that wall, doesn't it? I can't read. I thought this was Auto Club. Well, I'm stupid. We're at Michigan. Go ahead and give me a dumbass in chat for not getting the track right. So Michael Pegg here comes around. He's going to overtake the 429 of Paul Witt, who just came off pit road. This put these two right back with each other. And number 9 of John Held A little bit further back, 43 is Sandy Curtis back from him. These two did not have anywhere near the stop that 429 of Paul Witt had. Our leader currently is the 89 of Randolph Richard. He is choosing to keep it out. I guess hoping maybe for a caution. If he gets a caution, he'll trap a whole bunch of people a lap down. And that's kind of the thing that he wants to happen to someone like Michael Pegg, Paul Witt, John Held. These guys, as fast as they are, does not want them on the lead lap. You see everyone coming behind him, just eating him up. I believe that is the 024 that looks like the 52 and the 76 going by on his outside. So 129, Kim Kraus ahead of him, just came off pit road. All these guys here on the lead lap. The last car, so the first car a lap down would be the 59 of Ralph Blair. He's on fresh tires, so he's going to be coming as quickly as he can. 71. He's currently scored as the leader. It looks like the 129 did come down pit road. So no, he was getting swallowed up because he just came off pit road. So Dirty Don Davis here. He be your leader. As I believe, let's take a look here. 89 of Ralph Blair on pit roads. Yes, 71 of Dirty Don will be the last car on this cycle of green flag stops. Maybe hoping for a caution. Take a look. 429, 777, both these guys 22 seconds back. Behind them, the 19 of Ben Gear, 23 seconds back, and behind him with the 9 and the 43 here. Work together to get back up there in the mix. These guys are catching Dirty Don probably 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds a lap. That's the that'll be the difference, folks working together and on fresh tires as the 71 comes down pit road to make his service. Little squirrely there. Looks like he was able to make pit road speed with no issue. So that should give the lead here to one of these two. They start fighting, but I'd be willing to bet it's going to be Michael Pegg here coming across the line. So Michael Pegg will be the one to assume the lead here on lap 40. As these two make an absolute time out here. They are 4 seconds up on the 9, John Held. Not entirely certain. I mean, John Held and Sandy Curtis here were showing ridiculous speed early on. They weren't having really any problems keeping up with and, challenging those top two, but 429 and the 777 just pulling away. Slowly, it appears, they are making tracks. Well, we were mentioning we were going to ride along with them. Let's go ahead and let's ride along with the 429 of Paul Witt for a lap or so. Just see the difference what these guys are doing versus the folks behind them. Here we are on lap 46, the 33 going for a pass there on the 9 coming out of turn 2. We see, these three definitely doing a lot of fighting amongst themselves, and that's not going to do great things for their forward momentum. But the thing we were seeing out of that 777 out of 429 up there at the top, we're in a very different line. Saw 429 running lower than the 777 going to turns 1 and 2. Now he looked like he was having issues getting up off the corner, but he was getting up off the corner just close enough to Michael Pegg that he was able to give him a decent aero push going down the backstretch. Then you look at Paul Witt's turns 3 and 4 so much faster than Michael Pegg that he's giving him physical solid pushes all the way down the front stretch. He enters higher than Michael, then he cuts it down, able to get back to the gas faster. And right there, he is just about, I'd say he probably is bumper locked here with the 777 all the way down the front stretch. That's where most of their time is coming from. I think these guys are making up the vast majority of their time there on that front stretch. Paul just not quite able to get that turn that he needs through turn 2. Like, he looks great in turn 1, but turn 2 looks like he's really struggling there behind that 777. But then turns 3 and 4. Watch this run. Watch this run out of the 429. Comes flying out of the corner. Looked like he got a little tight there. Had to get out of it. Probably because I'm talking about it. But right there, giving it, I mean, that's an aero push, but that's a solid push there to the 777 down the front stretch. Trying a little bit different line, trying to do in turn 2 what he's doing in turn 4. And he's right there, right all over the rear bumper of Michael Pegg. If that's something he can do lap over lap over lap, is just go ahead and run that, I guess, crossover line in turn 2 and in turn 4. I mean, these two working together. These two work together very well like teammates. But at the same time, as we take lap 50, Paul Witt is always looking to find, where is Michael Pegg weak? Where can I get by him? These two very competitive. They very much enjoy racing each other. They fight each other very, very hard. I want to say that when it comes to racing here in Lucky Dog, Paul Witt's biggest hobby is making Michael Pegg sweat. And as we get towards the closing laps of this race, he's going to make Michael Pegg work for that win. But as of right now, these two working together, it's what you want to see out of teammates. These two working phenomenally well. They're now 5 seconds up on the third place car of John Held. Is just doing what he can to try and get a push from the 33 and the 43, but these guys are too separated. They're not able to get the organization that the top two have to really make a lot of progress. I'd be willing to bet that at least 2 of these cars down here are running tight. I'd expect it's more than likely going to be the 33 of Gary Ragland, the 43 of Sandy Curtis, currently battling tight race cars. I believe the 9 here, as closest to fresh air as you're going to get further back in the field. I mean, he's 5 seconds back, so he's not really having to deal with the negative effects of the air from in front of him. He's probably running just fine. I think it's the 2 behind him that are really battling that dirty air. And in all of that, looks like, from that group that was racing there towards the front, the biggest loser so far has been the Euro 24 of Everett Lane back here in the 6th position. And he's running with a fair old group with him. He's got the 76 of Donald Stewart, the 129 of Kim Kraus, the 59 here of Ralph Blair, and the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. All of these guys running fairly close together. On the one hand, they are trying to get back to the front of this field, but on the other hand, they're also battling each other for position. 129 dives it low. keeping in that fresh air, but also looking for a little bit of run there on the 76 there of Donald Stewart. Donald Stewart looking like he is committed that higher lane, trying to help that 024 of Everett Lane to work his way back forward. But Donald had a run there. Everett moved up to block. Donald dropped down to take advantage of it. Everett came down, cut that run off at the knees. That puts the 129 here. Kim Kraus firing it down there on the inside of the 76. He's able to draw alongside, not able to clear, so he should be able to pop up right here. Yep, 76 is able to get by. That run Donald Stewart's able to get going there around that high side. I don't think it caught Everett Lane out a little bit. He wasn't expecting that much speed coming from the high side. 129 of Kim Kraus able to get to the quarter panel, not quite able to keep it there, of Donald Stewart as they head back towards turns 1 and 2. This all is the race for 6th place. 5 cars here all running for that 6th spot. So go ahead, we'll take a couple laps. I want to ride along with the 129 of Kim Kraus, our pole sitter, to watch this battle unfold. That's the kind of racing these guys are having to deal with. I mean, you heard like a lot of these guys really struggling to find grip there in the corners, really playing with that throttle. Everett Lane dropped down to the 7th position. And we saw fairly early on the 129 of Kim Kraus overdrove turn 3, trying to make as much time as he could. That dropped him down, challenging Everett for 6th. Down to the 10th position. He works his way back up into 9th as he tries to get by the 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr. So he's able to complete that pass there. And the crazy thing is, these guys, with as much racing as they're doing around each other, they are reeling in the 3 guys ahead of them. John Held, Sandy Curtis, and Gary Ragland. These 3 running together are losing time each lap. That pack of 5 behind them. More importantly, they're losing time to these guys. Our leader, 6.5 seconds, over 6.5 seconds ahead of these guys. Michael Pegg and Paul Witt, this is the race here for the win. And these two currently playing chicken with each other. They're heading into that pit window. Either one of them can pit from here, I believe, and make it to the end. But I don't think either one of them is going to come down before lap 64. As we come here to lap 62 off turn 4. Lap 62. These guys are going to be pitting probably within the next 2 to 5 laps. Would be my guess. We saw Michael Pegg. He came down pit road a lap before Paul Witt, past Paul Witt, as Paul came off pit road. That's where I think this race is going to be decided between these two. It's going to be who pits first. Because that guy who's stuck out there, he's got no help. Yo, Paul Witt getting a little loose there. Looked like he hit the apron. That right rear tire is not going to be happy with him after after that. But no, these guys, whoever is stuck out is going to be stuck out alone. They're not going to be able to make the time they are together. Whereas the guy on fresh tires, he's going to make up a boatload of time. So which one of these guys blinks first? That's the question. If Paul pits before Michael, he'll leapfrog Michael. That's my guess. He'll leapfrog Michael on Michael's pit exit. If Paul Witt pits after Michael Pegg, I believe Michael Pegg will retain the lead. It's all a game. It's all a game of strategy. He's going to go check on the 44. It looks like he has disconnected. 59 of Ben Gear coming down pit road for his last pit stop. So green flag stops begin here with the 59. Remember, he was running with these guys. And they've really thinned out. 129 of Kim Kraus. He came down pit road for his last stop. So that's what we're really looking at now, is these guys here. When do they pit? They don't need to really worry, I don't think, about the guys out back. The 9 of John Held is 6.5 seconds back. Reading 6 currently, but when we went to look, it said 6.5. These guys are sitting over 6 seconds back. They're not really making time on the guys ahead of them. So unless these guys pit 5-6 laps before the guys ahead of them, they're not really going to catch them. Not with how they're currently run. It looked like the 429 of Paul Witt. His tires are looking baked. I don't think he really has the grip that he needs to be able to run behind Michael Pegg and give those pushes that he's been given. And he's just kind of holding on. You see, his corner exit there on turn 2 is absolutely terrible. You tell that car is not running good. He's running there just that little further up. He sees Michael Pegg coming to pit road. He can't let him go to pit road without him. Paul Witt commits to pit road with Michael. Both of them arrest their speed. I believe this would be for the win. Where do they come out? How does this shuffle? I'd assume Michael Pegg is going to win the race off pit road. That would be, oh, Michael Pegg overshot his pit. Had to back up. That's going to cost him time to the 429. Now, they did bring the 9 and the 43 and the 33 down pit road with him. Looks like the 24 of Everett Lane came down for his service as well. We were talking about it. 429 of Paul Witt gets out with the lead, which is just what he needed. Michael Pegg overshot his pit box. That's the kind of mistake you cannot afford, especially if you're going to race someone as difficult to pass as Paul Witt. Now, Michael's going to have the benefit of the draft here. He's definitely not out of this. However, we saw how difficult Paul was to pass early on in this race. He's got fresh laps and he only has to run another 33 laps. With the benefit of that clean air, he's going to be difficult, and it's a gap between him and Michael Pegg. Now, Michael's going to have, like we said, he's going to have that pull, but he's also going to have that dirty air as he goes to the inside looking to pass Paul Witt early. Paul left that bottom open. What does he do here in turn 3? He backs off. Looks like he's going back to pushing the 777. This is not something we were expecting with how they came off pit road. Michael Pegg did exactly what he needed to do. He committed to that pass on the 429 early. That's something he had to get done quickly. Not certain if the 429 is running with damage. He's already fallen back from the 777. We'll see how this plays out. So we go ahead and we check in with our leader, the 71 of Dirty Don. He is the last car. He was the last car to come down pit road the first time. It looks like he'll be the last one to come down pit road this time as well. This kind of strategy definitely looks like he was hoping for a caution. Not quite going to get it, though, as the 71 comes to pit road. This will go ahead and give the lead here to the 777 of Michael Pegg. These guys are still 6 seconds over third place, which is the 129 of Kim Kraus. He's getting a good push here from the 59 of Ralph Blair. They assume third and fourth. And they got that 9 of John Held. He is looking, he wants to get back up there. He's been running in that top 5 all night long. More so, he's been running inside that top 3 just about all night long. So he wants to get past both of these guys, 59 and the 129, doing everything they can to make up as much ground as possible. Remember, Kim Kraus was our pole sitter. He got shuffled out of the lead very quickly. It's a 9 of John Held going to pass the 59 and the 129 low. Gets both of them on that turn 4 exit to reassume the third position. But these guys are 7 seconds behind our leader. That's not an insurmountable distance, but it will be difficult with only 28 laps left in this race. Michael Pegg and Paul Witt have already shown these guys are fast. Paul Witt is already starting to close up that gap. Remember, he fell back 2-3 tenths back from Michael Pegg, and he is right there, running a little bit higher line. Playing around behind Michael Pegg, that is not something you can do for too long and expect it to work. this is definitely certainly an interesting battle we have going on. See Paul Witt getting run after run after run on that 777 of Michael Pegg, not going for that pass. He's playing with those lanes, it looks like, trying to see which one is the one where he can make this pass. He's definitely had momentum several times. You can see him, not fully, but just a little bit, get out of the throttle behind Michael Pegg. Just let Michael know, hey, I could go for a move on you at any time. And there's not much you'd be able to do about it. So he is right on him, lap over lap over lap. They head here into turns 3 and 4, that lap down car of Brian Pierce. Going to give both these guys a suboptimal corner exit. I caught him at probably the worst possible spot there on the exit of turn 4. Hurts momentum of both of these cars. They're both able to get clear before turn 1, so they can get the arc they want into the first 2 turns. But that has separated them back out. Just not much, just a little bit. While these guys continue to work to build that gap, I assume they're just building that gap there on the rest of the field. We're back, we'll take a look. The number 9 at John Held. These 3 have fallen back to 7.5 seconds behind our leaders. You can see same 3, John Held, Sandy Curtis, and Gary Ragland, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Behind them, the 76 here of Donald Stewart. He and the 59 of Ralph Blair trying to catch up. Ralph was ahead with the 129 of Kim Kraus ahead of these guys. 76 here trying to make up that difference. They're just a shade over 2 seconds behind these guys, ahead of them. Behind them, the 24 of Everett Lane trying to make up time himself. The 129 of Kim Kraus looked like maybe he had pushed things just a little bit too hard. He has fallen off back to the 9th position. If I had to guess, running that top. I mean, running the top is fast for a little while, but unfortunately it is not the key to long run speed in these cars here at Fontana. No, this is not Fontana. Stop it. Michigan. This is Michigan. You want it to be Fontana. This is Michigan. We head back here, check in on our leaders. Let's go ahead and we'll watch from the number 6. Watch these guys, see what he's seeing as these guys run together. Hear how tight that car is. It looks like it's alternating between tight and loose behind these guys. And he's able to keep up. This is how powerful the draft is. You saw how fast they caught the 6 of Brian Pierce, but he's able to hang with them just close enough that he's got a good pull from these guys. And that's the same kind of thing that, you know, that's probably what was keeping that that pack together for as long as it did. You know, we had 10 cars there all fighting for position there for quite a while. And that draft, the draft of these cars is phenomenal. But it is just, you know, even on worn tires, it is just as important here as it is a track like, you know, the new configuration, well, the newer configuration for Atlanta or Daytona or Talladega. People don't think of Michigan as a drafting track, but without it, when you see the gap between the 429 and the 9, it's over 7.5 seconds. Whereas the 6 here is able to keep it within 2-3 tenths of the guys in front of him, just because he's got a decent pull. And we were seeing that he's really struggling getting through turns 3 and 4 behind these guys. Let's go, we take a look. I believe the vehicle in front of these guys would be the 19 here of Ben Gear. I believe, I'm entirely certain, that he's back here all by himself, 25 seconds behind. And that gap is just getting bigger. He would love to get closer here to the 71 of Dirty Don. Those two working together, be able to make some time, really stave off the leaders catching them. But Dirty Don also by himself, trying to track down that 89 of Randolph Richard, who is also by himself, trying to track down that 52 of Gary Whitmer Sr., who finally is by himself. And they're just losing time to the guys ahead and the guys in front. Well, the guys ahead, I should say, you know, with Kim Kraus, Everett Lane, Ralph Blair, those three, but they're also losing time to the guys behind them, the leaders who are coming to put them a lap down. Lap over lap. Like, you know, this is how impressive that draft is. Just look how close Brian Pierce is. And the 3 of Kendall Craft, I do believe he came down pit road not too long ago. Looks like damage to the right front of that car. He's 2 laps down. He's hanging on to these guys. That John Deere Chevrolet making his way around, and more than likely looking to unlap himself the hard way. And you can see right there that right front where it's caved in. You can see the tire exposed to the air. So he's trying to catch up to these guys. If he can get ahead of Brian Pierce, I mean, Brian's a lap ahead of him, and Brian's a lap down. If he can get ahead of Brian, that'd be a huge boon. He can go ahead and looks like he almost taps the wall there. Oh, hits the wall there. Just trying to get everything gathered back up. If he can get ahead of Brian, Brian will be our lucky dog if we get a caution. So we take 11 laps to go this time by, I do believe. Yep. Sorry, 10 laps to go. We're looking at the lap down car. So we are 9 laps. We are 10 laps to go here. Brian would be our lucky dog. He would get the wave around, get his lap back. 3, if he's able to get past the 3 guys ahead of him, he'll be able to stay out and get that wave around for folks who stay out rather than pitting, and that will put him back on the lead lap. As here we are with 10 laps to go. This is probably where our attention is going to stay for the remainder of this race. It is the 429 of Paul Witt doing whatever he can to get past that 777 of Michael Pegg. We are getting down to the point where Paul's got to be thinking about making that move. He's got to be thinking about making that move soon. They've got 7 seconds to play with the guys behind him. So really, he can start looking to make this move whenever. It might take a lap or 2, maybe even 3 to set up. And then it might take another 2 to 3 laps to pull off. But Michael here's got to be concerned. That 429 has already shown speed. He's already shown that he can make this move whenever he wants. The speed of that 429 is really putting that 777 on the defensive. Paul there ran it higher through turns 1 and 2, right on the rear bumper, just about, of the 777. He goes back to that sort of, not quite this time, crossover line in turn 3 and 4. He's essentially, what he's doing is he's really keeping Michael guessing. Where is the pass going to come from? When is it going to come? That 777 of Michael Pegg may have learned the key to staving off that run from the 429 there going through turns 3 and 4. You see Michael Pegg keeping it down on the bottom for just a little bit longer, and that seems to really be hurting the 429's corner exit there in turn 4. By the same token, 429 appears to have figured out what he needs to be able to maintain the gap going through turns 1 and 2. Remember, we were seeing that he seemed to be struggling there earlier on in the race. Paul moving up the track just a little bit in 3 and 4, trying to get a little bit better run. He's got that 6 behind him. If he can get a good push from the 6, I know the 6 is a lap down, but he can get a good push from the 6. That could be what he needs to get down the front stretch, to really take advantage of the speed he's found in turns 1 and 2. We are 4 laps to go. See these 2 lap cars, the 6 and the 91, they're not really going for, trying to get past these guys, not trying to get their laps back. They're letting these guys race it out. But that 429 can feel that push from behind that he's getting from the 6 of Brian Pierce. Brian just trying to hang on. Paul Witt at this point pushing with everything he's got. So we are 3 laps to go. It'll be 2 to go next time by. He is high going through turns 3 and 4. He is right there, almost in the wall there on corner exit, trying to get the best run possible here on that 777. As we are 2 to go. Yeah, 777 started mirroring the line of that 429. He cannot allow Paul Witt to run his preferred line around this track. Did not work really to his advantage too much there going through turns 1 and 2. Paul Witt was able to really close that gap down the backstretch. He's following firm in his wake as we take the white flag. 1 lap to go here at Michigan. I got it right this time. As they come up on the lap car of the 19 of Ben Gear. Ben's up high, and that's going to hurt the 429. They're going to catch him here on corner exit. Neither one of them able to get that corner exit that they need. They are stuck side by side with the 19 of Ben Gear. Paul Witt looking for that room. It's not there. They dive it off here into turn 3. Paul Witt hard in the gas, trying to get that run off the top side. Is it there? We don't know. 6 of Brian Pierce to his bottom. Not able to dive down to get in the draft of the 777. Michael Pegg is your winner here at Michigan, followed by the 429 of Paul Witt. I'm going to guess that'll put the 9 of John Held. No, he is beat out at the line by the 43 of Sandy Curtis. 43, Sandy Curtis coming home third. 9 of John Held in fourth. And the 33 of Gary Ragland is your top 5. Fantastic race from all of these guys. Go ahead and we'll see if we can collect your top 3 for interviews as Michael Pegg brings it to the start-finish line to burn it down.
And I was like,
alrighty, and we have our top 3 here with us, starting with the 43 of Sandy Curtis. Sandy, this is William in the booth. You got me?
yeah, buddy, how's it going?
Man, it is absolutely fantastic. It is always nice to see that 43 running up front, especially the paint scheme I remember most vividly growing up watching. Sandy, how was your race tonight?
Good, really good setup with the cars, and it was really good, but you had to stay in that draft. If you didn't have the draft, then you weren't going to have much speed.
And we were seeing definitely early on, you and the 9 at John Held, you guys had a lot of speed going for you. As, you know, seeing if you two were able to just run together, just without anyone really trying to get by. It seems like you guys could probably have speed, you know, really to really contend there. Looked like you guys were doing a lot of racing there with the 33. How was the car as if you had to race it real hard with people lap over lap?
Really good. To be honest, yeah, Gary was coming up there in 33, and I honestly expected him to go by us. When he got up to me, I let him go by the first time because he ran me and John down, and we were in the draft. And we weren't catching Michael and Paul, but we weren't losing at that time. And he ran us down, and he didn't have the draft to start with. So I honestly expected him to be in the top 3.
Yeah, it looked like he did eventually settle in, just kind of working with you guys, trying to make up that time. I mean, I guess I gotta ask. I mean, you guys didn't come down pit road too much longer after those top 2. Just trouble on pit road, or?
No, I just did one lap after they came in, but no, they came in. They came out nice and tight. We came in. You know, John had a 1-second lead. Me and Gary came out pretty close together. We ran John back down, but by then, you know, Michael and Paul were able to pull another, 3-4 seconds on us. And again, the next pit stop was a bit tighter, but they still came in and out a lot tighter than we did. And that last run, I killed my tires trying to catch John. The only reason I'm here right now is because he brushed that wall coming out of 2, or otherwise, you would have been talking to him.
Well, still absolutely phenomenal run from you guys. I mean, like you mentioned, drafting here is so important. I'd say probably just as important as a track like Daytona or Talladega, but for a different reason. But phenomenal drive. And like I said, I always love seeing that Cheerios machine up front.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It was nice to get it up there, even if it's only one lap. It's still a lap's a lap, right?
And she looks beautiful doing it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, I'd just like to shout out to Michael Pegg for, putting this up for a whole bunch of us to come and play every night. And, all the work that you do and Brian does, like the appreciate that, and let people know how much you guys do. Your telecasting that you're doing, that's time, away from you out here on the track with us, but we all appreciate it. And I'd like to thank my wife and my children.
Well, thank you, Sandy, for taking the time to talk to us. Want to again congratulate you on your finish, and hopefully get to talk to you next time.
Yeah, thank you. Like I said, I wish I had something for Michael and Paul. I thought we did at first, but that once they got that gap, we were done.
Thank you, Sandy. You have a good evening.
You too. Take care.
All right, we'll move on to our second place finisher, the 429 here of Mr. Paul Witt. Paul is with me in the booth. You got me?
Yep, got you, William.
Paul, when you beat, when I saw Michael overshoot his pit box there on that final stop, I thought you had him, but he got by you less than a lap later. What was the plan?
Well, I wanted them to catch back up to me because single file, they were going to catch us. So I was letting up going into the turns all the time, and he was full throttle there for a little while till he could catch back up to me, and I just let him go, and I was just following him. He's in it for the points. I'm not. I'm going to be hit and miss in here. So let him lead all the laps if you wanted to. I was just going to fall back and just ride, and that's all I was doing. And I was going to school on him. I was learning his lines, what he was doing, and stuff like that. And I was going to get him on the last lap, and then coming out of 2, I really couldn't get my run that I needed because we had a lap car out there, and that threw my hopes of trying to beat Peg going into 3 out the window.
Yeah, it definitely looked like you caught that lap car just at the absolute wrong time. But no, it was phenomenal watching you guys. You two nose to tail. I mean, at the start there, you guys couldn't really seem to break away from anybody. And then after that first round of pit stops, you guys seem to have this thing pretty much in the bag.
Yeah, it's all about those pit stops. If you can get on and off a pit road here, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make up some time. And as soon as we, Michael pitted a lap early, I told him to stay out, and he didn't. He went and pitted, and I came in with Sandy and John, and when we pulled out of there, I was well in front of them. I was a couple of seconds in front of them already, and I was like, "How I came in with them." So it's all about getting down to speed, getting on the pit road as fast as you can, and getting off.
Yeah, no, and then what you guys were doing on the track, I was noticing that you guys, consistently there for those first 2 runs weren't running the exact same line going through the corner. It's like, one of you would run a little high, one of you would run a little low. You get a little space in the corner, and then you cinch right back up on the straightaways. You guys almost look like you were drafting at Daytona.
Yeah, you've got to when you're here at Michigan, it's all about the draft. And when you're running like that, you've got to have. You can't run right behind them because if you do, you're going to lose the right front and go right into the wall because you're going to get super tight. So you got to give yourself some downforce on the front end of the car. So you can't run the same line. You got to run different lines. And once you start doing that and doing it, it's just second nature. I mean, Michael and I have been running together for years, so we pretty much know how each other runs.
Well, phenomenal run for you, Paul, finishing second tonight. Watching you come through the field is always a blast. Watching you try to make Michael sweat, especially towards the end of a race, is always fun to watch from up here in the booth. So congratulations on your finish.
Yeah, thanks. He would believe me. He was gonna be sweating coming into turn 3 if Ben wasn't there. I can tell you that much, because I was I was ready with the line and everything. I knew what line I needed to run to have that run off of 2, and hope to be side by side with them going into 3. So I was gonna do everything I could, but when that lap car was on the outside there, it was gone. I even told Michael, I said, "Yeah, Michael, I was going to try to get you, but with that lap car there, there's nothing you can do."
Well, congratulations on your win, Paul. Is there anyone you want to shout out before we let you go?
Yeah, give a shout out to you and Brian and Michael for all you guys do over here. You know, got to say hi to my grandson Colton. I think he's watching. So he likes watching Papa run around the track. So got to say hi to him, and you know, thanks my wife for letting me come down and do this. You know, day in and day out as much as I can, and appreciated that. So. And then hopefully we'll have another broadcaster up there in a few years with you, your son, or your daughter, whichever.
Well, I hope so. If the boy takes after his dad, I mean, heck, he'll probably run it with you guys for a while before he comes up here with me.
Listen, if the boy takes after you, I feel sorry for your wife.
So do I.
Oh yeah, and I do got to thank your wife for letting you come on here and doing this all the time with us. You know, you do a really good job, and you know, I know you're taking time away from her, so you know, I appreciate her letting you do this.
Again, so do I. No, it's a lot of fun, and again, thank you for that, Paul. Congratulations on your finish, and we hope to talk to you next time.
All right, man. Thanks, William.
All right, and we go ahead and we move on to our leader, Mr. Michael Pegg, the man of the hour. Michael, swing in the booth. You got me?
Yes, sir.
Man, how much work was that with Paul beating down your back bumper lap over lap for just about the whole race?
Yeah, that last 20 laps, it was hot. I was sweating. Yeah, the room got hot. These two computers running. I was rolling.
I mean, you definitely looked like you had the track set up, the line all figured out tonight. I guess, you know, I was noticing some folks sliding around. How did the car really feel over the course of a long run this evening?
If you weren't careful, it'd slide out from you loose on the corners. But it was okay. You just had to throttle control it. It wasn't too bad. It ate the right front. I didn't get the tire wear that I wanted that first run. I was 51.67. Paul was somewhere in the 40s.
Yeah, you guys were absolutely hauling the mail there on that first stint. But then, you know, after that first set of pit stops, I want to say it was like 4 seconds between yourselves and third. And after that second set of pit stops, 7 seconds. Like, you guys were gone.
Yeah, we were trying to check out. I wanted to somehow get away from them because I knew if we could get away from them, they couldn't draft with us. But they were sure strong tonight. I think Sandy's traded his TV in or something. Something's going on. He's got a monitor. He's upgraded his equipment. Something's different because he's running totally different from what he was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, Sandy's been great. I know he beats the pants off of just about everybody on Friday night. I know Sandy's the guy to beat, but you know, it's great seeing him run up front here on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
He's upgraded something. Something's changed because that's a radical difference in him. But hats off to him. He's running awesome.
Yeah, no, and it's always great seeing more people being able to get up and, you know, compete definitely up here for the win. I think, are we still running iRacing default setups in these cars?
Yes, I believe that's what it was tonight. Yeah, if I'm correct. Yeah.
And there's got to be something to said for the iRacing default here at Michigan in these cars that, you know, really no one was really complaining how the car handled.
No, it wasn't bad at all. You just as long as you drove it and behaved. You know, when he would bump me going down the straightaway, he'd get sideways, he'd get loose. But you know, he was just playing with me. We're playing with each other.
And I know talking with you on, you know, at other tracks where the setup's a lot tighter, did the setup this evening really suit your style of driving more so than, say, Las Vegas's setup?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, a little bit more loose. It's a little bit more easy to control. I like Michigan. I like turn 3 and 4. That's where I was making a good amount of time.
You know, we were watching it there. I was actually a little concerned there in 3 and 4 for quite a while. It looked like where Paul was making up most of his time on you. Seemed like you had a better 1 and 2 most laps.
Yeah. It was give and take. We were back and forth. We just wanted to stay together and not hit each other.
Well, you two definitely did that. Definitely classed the field. Like, this is one I wish I had my computer working so that I could save that replay and actually study you two driving here, because I think there's a lot that can be learned just from watching that replay.
Yeah, Paul's great, man. He's hung in there with me. You know, he took lessons with Keegan, and it's been awesome. He put a lot of hard work into it. Paul probably worked harder than probably any of us as far in trying to achieve the better driver. He's put, I can't count the laps in and the hours. Um, I'm surprised he went through another steering wheel as many laps as he turns.
I mean, I'm surprised he doesn't burn through equipment faster than he does, because I know that when he and I were racing together regularly, like he's like, "Oh yeah, I put like 4 or 5 hours of practice in at this track." I'm like, "Dude, I just got off work."
Yeah. Yeah, he's really good when he gets motivated. He gets set to it, which he's doing good in other leagues too. And I'm proud of him. I'm really proud of him. He's put a lot of time and effort into it, not just showing up. And you know, he's really studied and tried to figure it out, just like you did, man. You were incredible when you were driving, so it was awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. I'm looking at the time though, and I'm thinking dinner is calling your name. So, is there anyone you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to give it a shout out for your wife, letting you come. Lucky Dog Broadcasting. We'll shout out to God himself. And we'll shout out to all the regulators, all the Lucky Dog members, all the Lucky Dog people watching. We'll shout out to Brian, Paul, Sandy, and we'll thank Cash, Tracy, Molly, and Winston.
Well, thank you for talking with us, Michael. Congratulations on your win, and we hope we get to talk to you next time.
Thanks, sir.
And that should just about wrap it up for us this evening. We will have a truck series. I think it's the Truck Series Extreme series. Mostly short tracks, some road courses, stuff we don't typically run on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the Truck Series, and the trucks tomorrow night. Next, after that will be the Thursday broadcast for our 1.5 mile truck series. Normally I would be calling that one, but it's a special day for my wife and myself, so I will be absent, and you'll hear from me next Tuesday, same bat time, same bat channel, for the Gen 6 series. Obviously we will have our late model stocks on Friday and our Xfinities on Saturday, so we hope y'all come back, join us for those. And until next time, have a good one.